So thankfully, Polymarket is coming to the United States and is also receiving a massive investment, $2 billion to be exact, which is good to hear because there's going to be a lot of bets next year about whether or not I'll have to fist fight HR. But more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people actually working in crypto talking about everything that is important for you to know in crypto. No FOMO, no shilling, just everything to keep you abreast of what's happening and what's important. Think of us like a top tier smoothie maker. We're putting in a bunch of ingredients, and every week you're getting a different but delicious subject smoothie. Today I'm joined by our resident degen Kale.
What's up?
I'm your host Vince, and of course, Katya from the Mew team.
Hi, can we be a Ninja Creamy? I hear that's the latest rage.
I'm a ninja.
My daughter really wants one.
They go hard.
I mean, isn't it just like an ice cream maker but fancy?
Well, you say that. Do you own an ice cream maker? Like, are you familiar with ice cream makers?
Yeah,
Like,
I have owned an ice cream maker, but it was
I didn't realize
massive.
you're talking about a literal ice cream maker. That's crazy. That sounds super cool.
Yeah,
I
the
have a
Ninja.
Ninja blender.
Oh yeah, then there's specifically it's like this little like ice cream maker
no,
by Ninja or
Ninja
whatever.
Creamy is an ice cream maker. Like, it makes you
Man,
put
I
in
might need
things
one
in
of
it.
those.
And then they have another model that's like also does like soft serve, like literally on your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
putting me on right now.
we'll talk more about appliances in a bit. Let's talk about crypto, shall we? And
Sorry.
no, for sure. Let's kick things off talking about Zcash. So Zcash has seen a massive rally in the last week, probably because we're seeing more and more of a conversation about privacy in crypto. Kale, talk to me about this. Is this a growing trend? Are we going to continue to see an emphasis on privacy?
I mean, one can hope. I like don't know where to begin with my thoughts on Zcash. Like, part of me is kind of scared because the last few cycles, Zcash pumps and then everything dumps. The bear market begins. So, like, that's in the back of my head. Also, I'm like pretty skeptical of like it just feels suspicious. Like, all of a sudden, everybody and their mother is shilling Zcash. All the top influencers that haven't spoke a word of Zcash like literally ever. So yeah, it feels like coordinated marketing. And then on
Interesting.
top of that, the only privacy coin that dark web and like black market websites use is Monero,
Mm-hmm.
which like you got to ask yourself, like, why is that? Why don't they use Zcash? So like all of these things make me a little skeptical of like what is actually going on right now. Like, why is Zcash pumping? I'm not exactly sure. Apparently they dropped a new update that makes it like easier, like near intense or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but yeah, I mean, privacy is very important, obviously. So I hope that this continues to be a trend and privacy coins become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like as far as like Zcash specifically, I'm a little skeptical. Like, it feels like a marketing push
It's
to me.
interesting because I haven't really noticed like influencers talking about it. So I was like, oh, this kind of fits in like my perception of the broader narrative. I know, for instance, like Reddit is testifying this week about radicalization of users and things like that. And there's a lot of rumors that they're going to have to like do ID verification for Reddit users. And we're seeing
Hmm.
kind of a big push towards verifying ages for YouTube accounts and things like that. And in my head, I was like, and people are like, wait, maybe we should maybe take back some of our privacy. But that's interesting from your perspective because you're definitely more in the trenches than I am. Katya, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I also think it's interesting what Kale said, because one headline I saw was like Zcash versus Bitcoin, and I was like, really? No, just really no. But I think it was because some of these Twitter X influencers would say things like, what was it? Bitcoin is insurance against fiat, and then Zcash is insurance against Bitcoin. And I was like, well, we do need privacy on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Zcash is not the end all solution for that, even though I don't know much about Zcash, but I am pretty confident that that's not going to be it. And I think that's kind of my reaction to all privacy coin things. It's interesting to me that they every once in a while they come up, they float up to the surface, privacy coins, and then it goes away again. While like you said, Kale, Monero keeps just chugging away under the surface, and it has been for like what, 10 years? More than 10 years. It's been around as long as I can remember. It hasn't emerged as a Bitcoin killer because it has privacy. It's doing its own thing, on the, as you say, in the dark web over there. So yeah, so I think that the interest in privacy on blockchains is legitimate. It is talked about in all circles, including, Ethereum developers and Vitalik himself, who has posted multiple things about this. I think that it will be solved eventually on blockchains. It will be solved on Ethereum. It will be solved on Bitcoin. But we're not all going to quit using Bitcoin and start using Zcash because it solves privacy. We're going to, have intermediate solutions for those people who need them, whether it's Monero or whether it's mixers or whether it's semi decentralized blockchains, things like that, like ledgers that are private ledgers. But it's not going to be Zcash. We'll get to a point where Bitcoin and Ethereum have privacy solutions, but we're not just all going to switch to Zcash because of that.
Yeah, you just knocked something loose in my head. I feel like at the end of the day, privacy coins, like there's not going to be one that everybody uses. Like when privacy coins inevitably become a thing, I'm sure there'll be different tiers, like because companies need different level of privacy than like the average Joe user. So yeah, I'm sure that'll be a thing. Different levels.
I think it's not going to be a coin. It's going to be like software as a service, protocols that companies that are going to be like using blockchain, whether it's going to be like a health insurance company or bank or whatever, and they're going to have their own custom solutions as they do for their records, and they're going to use a blockchain privacy solution, but it's going to be like a protocol, a solution. It's not going to be a specific coin that they're going to turn to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of specific coins, let's talk about BNB flipping XRP in all of the rankings, and XRP, community is an absolute shambles. So I don't really care about the price action. It's never something that we ever really talk about. I kind of want to talk about the concept of crypto communities and like the idea of like these people tying their identity to a digital asset. I feel like I've observed this over the last decade of like crypto, but also like traditional finance, like the GameStop death cult that formed around that asset. And it's all crazy to me. What are your guys' thoughts and feelings about this?
I also think, like, just to add to what you were saying, like people tie their identities to an asset, but I also think it's fun how assets like emerge with an identity. Like the asset has an identity, like, because BNB, like when it flipped, like all these memes were all about how like it's getting all this price action and flipping. It's like the third in line and still nobody cares. Like it's such a nerd, like in the group of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So I just think that's fun too, because they also like, you tie your identity to it, but they also have their own identities, like who is the cool kid and who is the tech kid and, all of that stuff. I just think that's fun. Sorry, Kale, if you were going to say something.
No, you're good. Crypto communities in general, I mean, I don't know. They make sense to me because like people identify with all types of kooky things. It's like someone wants to be the Amazon rainforest frog guy, and like that's what he makes his life about. And then
What?
like I don't know, I'm just like saying like
that sounds like
people
you're referencing a specific example, a specific person.
No, I'm just like people like all types of things. Like people are into chocolate covered roaches, like, and they make that their thing. Like I'm the chocolate covered roach guy. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense to me that these crypto communities form, especially because people end up making money on these, so especially when you make a large sum of money, it's easy to become attached to a thing and then start spreading the gospel, so to speak. But BNB and XRP specifically, I love to see it. It makes a lot of sense to me because like BNB actually has a lot going on. Like I've used BNB many times. Lots of people that I've met people who've used BNB. I've seen people on crypto Twitter talking about BNB. You know, like there's lots of dApps you can go try, meme coins. There's like a thriving ecosystem happening on BNB, and there's none of that on XRP as far as I know. There's
The
no
thriving
meme coins. There's no
ecosystem is
dApps.
just like a tier generator that they got flipped.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, this makes sense to me. It's like, yeah, of course, BNB was gonna flip XRP as number 3. Yeah.
And it's been around for so long. Like, I'm actually, now that I think about it, kind of surprised that, they haven't gotten more attention, because all the way like 6-7 years back, first it was just BNB. Then there was all that confusion about like the smart chain versus the
BSC
centralized
and stuff.
chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and there was the naming convention, and all of that was confusing. But it's Binance Smart Chain, and they've been around, in Polygon also. But I think BNB Smart Chain might have even been earlier. But anyway, like before all the layer 2 proliferation, before all of that, they were like one of the first Ethereum side chains alongside Ethereum chains that were, lower fees and all of that stuff. And I just feel like maybe their time has come. I feel bad that they're like not, perceived as cool, but like, I don't know, Solana or whatever. But like, I feel like, and it's probably I mean, Aster has played a role, of course, in
100%.
what's
I was
happening
gonna say the
now.
same thing.
And CZ is kind of like improving prospects on life, and what he said about like switching his attention to the decentralized part of it all. So of course all of that played a role, but I feel like it's earned for sure. Like they've been around.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. I don't think they'll go anywhere, honestly, because like you said, Aster is a huge part of this, and Aster is like a direct response to Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid itself almost became a top 10 cryptocurrency. So like Aster on BNB like automatically makes BNB like 10 times
There
more
was that
valuable.
little controversy. Did you see that? I think DeFi Llama, or like a
I
DeFi
saw
lister,
something about that. Yeah.
delisted Aster because they said that the volume data, like they suspected volume data, that like not having integrity, because like it's like, like pretend data from Binance or something like that. So there was a little bit of that, but I don't know what's happening there.
Another thing BNB has going for them. Sorry, Vince. This is my last thing.
No,
Then
because
jump in.
I have something on this as well. So go.
The last thing that they have going for them is also they have a huge Chinese market, which compared
Of
to other
course.
chains, it's like BNB is blowing everyone out of the water as far as like Chinese users. So
True.
they have that going for them.
I think it's funny because we saw Nvidia flip Apple as far as like valuable company, and we didn't see Apple shareholders in Shambles. And I wonder if it's because like Apple is a company that makes products and like has tangible things, and so there's less identity tied to the concept.
100%. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
XRP
Like it's
people are
not all
actually
about
scared.
Yeah.
Vince making this entire episode just so he can say XRP and Shambles.
100%. Dude, it's
Put it
such
on
a
a
great
throw pillow.
phrasing. Add it to the list of throw pillows. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of lists of things, they just announced that there's going to be a new Standard & Poor crypto index that is going to be tracking 15 cryptos and 35 crypto-related stocks. Is this crypto growing up? Is this fun to see? I definitely think it's fun to see. It's going to make, people that are looking for that exposure in somewhat quote-unquote meaningful ways have a little bit easier of a time. But what are your guys' thoughts, Katya?
So two things stand out to me about this. One is that, so I didn't realize, but on this news, I learned that S&P already had a crypto bundle before, bundled digital market, digital something, but it was only cryptocurrencies, I believe, like whatever is already on the market was included in there. And this is called something else, anyway, like a different name. But what's interesting to me is that it has both cryptocurrencies and IPO'd crypto companies. So it bundles together exposure to the infrastructure builders of the space, as well as the assets that are like driving the value to the space. So that I think is a first for S&P, and maybe a first anywhere for like an ET, because like they're like ETFs of the cryptos. They're, so I don't know whether it's like the first case where the cryptos and the crypto building companies are all in one basket, which is interesting to me. And the second
Yeah.
thing that stands out is that they're issuing an on-chain token at the same time with this other company. So like the stock on the exchange, but also at the same time an on-chain token which again, I don't know if it's a first, but it sounds like it's a first or one of the first. Like this is a different model of issuance where they issue the stock and the token at the same time. So like we're tokenizing stocks here, but like what if going forward new stocks are just going to be issued at the same time as a token
That's pretty
always?
cool. I
Yeah.
didn't realize they were doing
So
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Kale, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm generally a fan.
Mm.
I feel like I've been waiting for something like this, you know, because like a lot of my friends, like they know I'm into crypto, but then when they're like, where should I put my money? I'm always like, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just forget about it. But then like they don't want to put it into Bitcoin and Ethereum because then they're like, oh, well, what is this? And what is it? Like, you know, like it starts like a whole journey of, oh, well, now I need to like trust like this. And I don't know. It's like a whole journey to like get into crypto. And I feel like a basket like this makes it easier and much more digestible for people who don't want to learn. They don't want to like put the time in because they don't have the time, you know, for whatever reason. It makes it easier for those people to put their money in and feel confident that it's not just going to rug tomorrow. You know, it's already diversified. It's the top 15 cryptos and crypto companies, and they also rebalance it, you know. So
Yeah.
if one crypto is becoming too heavy, they'll like make sure it doesn't get over 5% of the total portfolio. So overall, it's like a great system for bringing normies in who like want exposure to crypto,
Yeah.
but they don't want to feel like, oh, what if Ethereum rugs? What if Bitcoin stops working? You know?
I do also think it's great that it also gives like companies and projects aspirations to work towards.
That too.
And
Sure.
inclusion in this would be just like, great PR for whatever new crypto company is IPOing or whatever. And so I think that that's really cool to see. And I wonder, what kind of inclusion in this index will do for these companies. Because I remember way back in the day, if your coin got listed on Coinbase, that was immediately like plus 20%. Now Coinbase like lists something every 5 minutes, it feels like. But it used to be special back for us old timers. I was like, oh, I can buy 3 assets. What is this Litecoin crap? I'll do that. And this brings us back to where we started our episode, which is talking about the New York Stock Exchange. Their parent company, Intercontinental Exchange, invested $2 billion into Polymarket. Let's kind of talk about Polymarket in general and kind of speculation. And is this kind of good for crypto? Is this kind of good for finance? Because I do feel like, we've seen with a lot of these like betting contracts. People are starting to kind of bet on everything, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing. But
Yeah,
Kale, you're a
I
DJ, and tell me
agree.
why I'm wrong. Oh, I'm right. Shit.
No, I mean it's a scary precedent, you know, because then it introduces like, you know, people are going to start making prediction markets and then going out and fulfilling it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, yeah, I don't know. It introduces that whole aspect. But I mean, yeah, it's cool to see Polymarket get a $2 billion investment, and I think it's funny that like all over their socials they're posting like Polymarket on the New York Stock Exchange, like pictures. I think it's the New York Stock Exchange, and there's like
Yeah.
American flags everywhere. And it's like you still can't use Polymarket in America. Like I
Yeah.
just tried this morning. I'm like, why are you guys like advertising American flags everywhere? Like we still can't use it. It's pretty annoying. But I mean I love to see it. Super cool. Also a random fact that I read, but when I double checked it, I don't think it's true. Somebody said that Shane Copeland, the founder of Polymarket, is the youngest self-made billionaire.
I
Because he's
read
literally
that.
like 27, made $1 billion.
Yeah, I read
But
something
then
about that as well.
Yeah, but then I looked it up, and apparently Mark Zuckerberg did it when he was 23. So like, I'm not sure, like how, like I don't know where the lie is, but there's a lie somewhere. But
Yeah.
anyway, Shane Copeland is now a billionaire, which is congrats to him, dude.
Get that bag. I don't know. I feel like Zuckerberg got his first B a little bit later in life. But now I know something I'm gonna have to research after here because now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I also am like, what are you gonna do with $2 billion, guys? Like, what? Come on, what's happening? What?
Yeah, there's
That's
going to be prediction markets in
so
public bathrooms, be prediction markets on your fridge, prediction
good.
markets everywhere.
I know.
I mean,
I dabbled briefly with some of the prediction event contracts, is what Robinhood calls theirs. And I'm just like, this is silly. Why is this right next to my investing? I hate this.
I was gonna say that I forget the name, but their competitor, Hyperliquid, starts with a K. I mean, it's
Kalshi.
Hyperliquid. I don't know what. I'm sorry, Polymarket starts with a K. Yeah, right, right. They got integrated in Robinhood, so I guess that's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Vince. Is that
Oh,
it's a thing
Kalshi
in
is
Robin?
integrated into Robinhood?
Yeah, yeah. That's
They're the one
the
that
one who
power
is
their prediction
providing.
markets.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's, so you're right. They are going to be on the fridge. Like they are going to be integrated into everything. Like it's going to be like, is my spouse going to pick up the milk that I asked them to pick up today or not? Like this is the
Oh.
prediction market for that. So, but I mean, one thing that I read, and I don't remember the details, is that apparently these prediction markets, once they're when they're legal in the US, I guess, like Robinsons, they go around somehow sports betting
Correct.
laws, like state laws and whatever. So somehow, like with the tacit agreement of the US government, they just bypass whatever sports betting laws, which is a huge deal. Like it's a huge money pot, right? Like
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
interesting.
know anything about it at all, but like I expect.
I think Robinhood reported they have made $6 billion from their prediction markets, with $4 billion of that just happening in the last quarter. Like, the people are like into this stuff, and I do not get it.
But but like, yeah, so that's what they're gonna do with it. Like Kayla's right. They're gonna inject it into everything and they are gonna make money on it. So maybe this, like, because they did 2 billion and they're valued at 8 billion or something. Like, I guess
I'm
they're
surprised
not
they just didn't pull a
wrong.
bigger number. Pull a bigger number, guys. Come on. Learn nothing from Tether? Come on.
From Tether, right, right. Like just go after OpenAI and all that. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious about it. If Polymarket was available in the US, I would have tried it by now. And don't get me wrong, like I've tried to bypass everything, but it's like, yeah, I don't know what kind of blockers they have because my VPN doesn't work, and I don't know, I'm not that technical.
But they do have a little pop-up that says we're working on it, like we're
Yeah.
coming. It's all official, so.
This does kind of raise a question, though, because Polymarket, as of right now, runs on crypto. If it is opened up to the US, why crypto? Is there any need for them to continue to just be driven by crypto to do this? Obviously Robinhood's is not done by crypto. I
I
wonder if
mean,
we'll
if it's
see a
powered by
shift.
Kalshi, I think it is, right?
Yeah. So, wonder how that works under the hood.
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't thought about
intrigued.
this. This is a good question. It's probably something about the immutability. I almost messed up that word. Something about the immutability of data, if I had to guess. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's just blockchain's just a database.
True. But I mean, I don't need any crypto in my Robinhood if I want to bet on. Hold on, let me see what I can bet on right now, because this is intriguing. I can bet on. Let me stall. How long will the government shutdown last? Or pro basketball baseball playoffs. So really, really
Wait,
riveting stuff.
you're saying your fist fight with the HR has not made it
It has
to
not made it
Robinhood's.
there, but
So see, they're too slow,
the goals for 2026, absolutely. But what's not a goal? To keep this podcast going more than it needs to, because we've reached the end, dear listener. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you found this useful and you feel smarter, because you should. You look smarter. Make sure you follow us on socials in the description. Send us a tweet, say hi. We like it when people say hi, and we will see you next week with more cryptocurrencies. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.